This video is brought to you by True Tales of Buried Treasure, the largest collection of old treasure magazines in the West. On our website, you can search for individual treasure stories by region, or buy our original magazines themselves. To pay us a visit, please click on the link in the description. Enjoy. Chatham, Massachusetts, sits on the outer curve of the peninsula jutting from the southeastern corner of the state, enveloping Cape Cod Bay. This small, charming, and historically rich town gazes out upon the Atlantic Ocean. John Eldridge, a respected figure in Chatham, ran the most prosperous tailor shop in town during the 1830s. Known for his hard work and provision for his family, Eldridge was esteemed by locals. Arthur Doane, a local fisherman and occasional laborer, was a close friend of Eldridge's. During one visit to the tailor shop, Doane appeared somewhat preoccupied and asked if it was possible to exchange foreign coins for American currency. Eldridge affirmed, and Doane then requested Eldridge to exchange 6 Spanish gold coins, minted in 1810, during his next trip to the city. Eldridge agreed and later exchanged the coins in Philadelphia, receiving about $75. This exchange continued every few weeks for 46 years, resulting in an estimated $60,000 returned to Doane. Doane utilized this fortune to improve his fishing business and save money. In 1880, as Doane lay gravely ill, he confided in Eldridge, revealing the story behind the origin of the gold coins. Decades earlier, in 1830, Doane was fishing off the coast of Chatham Beach when he decided to pull into port to visit a young girl he was enamored of. Because her father did not care for the young fisherman, Doane and the girl arranged to meet secretly on the beach. That night, while they were sitting among the dunes, they observed a skiff land on the shore in the distance. Several men exited the rowboat and, carrying a chest, picks, and shovels, proceeded up the beach to a spot not far from where Doane and his girl hid behind some thin brush. After about 20 minutes of digging, the men lowered a heavy chest into a deep hole, covered it up, returned to the boat, and rowed out to sea, presumably to an awaiting vessel. The following morning, Doane obtained a spade and went to the site of the buried chest. For nearly an hour, he scanned the horizon for some sign of the sailor who buried the chest the previous night, and finding none, began to dig. After nearly an hour, Doane's spade struck the top of the wooden chest. After several more minutes of working intently, he forced the chest open, and his heart pounding furiously from excitement and exertion, stared down at nearly 24 canvas bags tightly packed with gold Spanish coins. Doane knew he had to find a new hiding place for this fortune. Quickly, he closed the chest and refilled the hole before anyone could spot him at his activity. Scanning the horizon, he noticed a high, prominent sand dune about 400 yards away. The dune began approximately 30 yards from the shore and extended another 70 yards toward the road that led to Chatham. That evening after sundown, Doane returned to the large dune and excavated a deep hole near the south side. Following this, he exhumed the treasure chest, removed all the gold-filled sacks, and carried them to the new excavation. He returned to retrieve the chest and dragged it back to the large dune where he deposited it into the new hole and refilled it with the canvas bags, keeping one out for himself. Quickly, yet very carefully, he filled in the hole and smoothed over the sand. For a few years, Doane nervously kept the secret of the existence of the gold-filled chest. He feared the men who originally buried the chest would find him out and kill him. Having never had much money in his life, he was uncomfortable about handling the fortune he had stumbled onto. Finally, after a few years went by and he felt reasonably certain he would not be detected, Doane approached his friend Eldridge about exchanging the coins for American money. The arrangement worked out fine for both men, and when he ran low on coins, Doane would merely return to the south side of the large sand dune in the dark of night and retrieve another sackful of gold coins. Now, as Doane lay dying in his bed, he pointed to a nearby dresser and told his friend to look in the top drawer. There, Eldridge found 18 gold coins, all that remained of Doane's most recent acquisition. "When you need more," Doane told him, "you will have to go to the dune and dig them up." Growing weaker, Doane laboriously provided his friend with the directions to the buried treasure chest. The next morning, Eldridge made the short journey out to the beach and easily located the dune as it was described by his longtime friend. Carrying a spade and using Doane's directions, Eldridge paced off the necessary steps and, when he arrived at the specified location, proceeded to dig in the sand. The tailor, unaccustomed to strenuous labor, grew weary quickly, but driven by the promise of wealth, he persisted, taking frequent breaks to catch his breath. His relief was palpable when he heard the spade strike the wooden chest. Upon opening it, Eldridge found 7 sacks of coins remaining. He took one bag, closed the chest, and filled the hole. The next day, he closed his shop and journeyed to Philadelphia, where he sold the coins for $4,500. Upon his return to Chatham, Eldridge deposited the money in his bank account and hurried to Doane's house to share his success. However, he was met with the news that Arthur Doane had passed away the previous evening. Saddened by the loss of his friend, Eldridge remained despondent for several days, quietly attending to his tailor shop. About a week later, Eldridge decided to retrieve the remaining 6 sacks of gold coins from the beach dune. As he prepared for bed, he closed his windows against an approaching storm, silently praying for the safety of the area's fishermen. That night, one of the worst storms in Chatham's memory swept in from the Atlantic, causing extensive damage to boats, piers, and homes along the southern shore. The following morning, as the sky cleared, Eldridge ventured to the beach with his spade. To his dismay, he found the sand dune completely washed away by the previous night's storm. Despite his efforts to search for the buried treasure, he found no trace of it, returning home exhausted and disheartened. Eldridge visited the beach numerous times in the following weeks, digging in hopes of locating the coins, but to no avail. The remaining sacks of coins were estimated to be valued at approximately $25,000 at 1880 gold exchange rates, a sum that would be considerably more valuable today. And so, somewhere between the historic town of Chatham and the shore, the gold coins still lay buried in an old wooden chest, just a few feet beneath the sand. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to read the original article or purchase the magazine from which it was taken, please check out our website, truetalesofburiedtreasure.com.